THC Urban Gardener here, the happy cultivator, and let's talk fertilizer. So what I have here is your basic fertilization for the whole season of growing. We use different things at different times for different plant needs. The plant starts out as a seedling, then it grows up and it becomes a full-fledged plant, and then it goes to flower. So in those different stages, you're going to need different fertilizations. The first thing you want to do is start out with a good soil base, and you're going to want to put in all your amendments, including your beneficial microbes and your mycorrhiza fungi. So what I have here is Organic Plus Tomato, Vegetable, and Herb by Kellogg's. What this has in it is it contains beneficial soil microbes and mycorrhizal fungi. This is a mix, and what it has in it is bone meal, dried poultry manure, feather meal, kelp meal, alfalfa meal, and potassium sulfate. And as you can see, all of these are organic products. So you're going to want to start your soil with a base of this, and this has all your NPK in it, as well as some calcium in it. The analysis on this particular product is it's got 4% nitrogen, 6% phosphate, 3% potash, and 10% calcium. So you already get some calcium in there as well. Speaking of calcium, we'll just get right to the chase and we'll cut to diatomaceous earth. Diatomaceous earth is silica. It's basically ground up fossilized shells, and it not only helps keep away bugs because they don't like it because it cuts up their thoraxes, but it also provides calcium to your plants, so you can go ahead and put that in your soil at the beginning of your grow. Another product that you definitely want to include in the beginning of your grow is worm castings. Worm castings contains all the trace elements. It's just like they say, it's black gold. This stuff is amazing. It's kind of like magic in a bag. And when you put this on your plants, you will see them turn a dark, deep green and look the happiest they've ever looked. So put about 10% worm castings in your soil to begin, and then throughout your grow, you can actually do a little top dressing on it as well. Now we're talking beginning of the plant growth. We're talking about the beginning of our soil. So in the beginning of plant growth, plants really need the nitrogen. So what we have here is guano. This is a great nitrogen enriching product. You don't need a lot. A little goes a long way with the guano. Unlike when you're using your chicken manure, the chicken manure only goes so far, but you need a lot of chicken manure compared to just a little tiny bit of guano that you need. So this whole bag will probably last me a couple of seasons, believe it or not. And the percentages in this is 7-3-1. So 7 nitrogen, 3 phosphorus, and 1 for your potassium or potash. Okay, another thing that you're going to want to put in your beginning soil mixture is azomite rock dust. Trace minerals, good stuff. This is basically volcanic rock. It has A to Z of minerals, including trace elements. It is a natural trace mineral product mined in central Utah. Azomite can improve plant and root system growth, crop yields, quality, and flavors, as well as remineralize nutrient-depleted soils. Its analysis is 0.2 potash, 1.8 calcium, 0.5 magnesium, and 0.1 sodium. And the big deal of the azomite rock dust is those trace minerals. A lot of deficiencies you'll see in your plants, you know, some spotting, yellowing, things like that. You know, you could rack your brain trying to figure out what exactly is wrong, and sometimes it's as simple as just your trace minerals missing. Plants really need those small trace minerals, and when you provide the azomite rock dust with the worm castings, you're giving them all those trace minerals that they need. And then you're set. Your seedling and your maturing plant should do great. All right, so there's something that I forgot to bring out, and that is our alfalfa hay cubes. This is one of the best fertilizers that you can get. You can buy it at the feed store. It's very inexpensive. I got a 50-pound bag for about $15, I believe is what it was. $12 to $15, something like that, and that will feed my whole season. This is the fertilization you're going to want to use all the way up to flower. It is basically just the alfalfa cubes, and make yourself up some alfalfa tea and throw a little calcium in there. You can use diatomaceous earth for your calcium, or you can use another product, Aroma SI. Let me go get a bottle to show you. This is Aroma SI by General Hydroponics, and it is a liquid form of silica, and this is super important for nutrient uptake. So you're going to want to make sure in all of your feedings you put silica. Now, every other feeding during the growth period, I use Fox Farm Big Bloom concentrate, and this is actually an organic product, and it's a mix of bat guano and worm castings, and that's a great feeding product. So what I do for feeding during the growth stage is I make up a tea. Every week I make up a tea of alfalfa with the silica in it. Every other week I mix up a little bit of the Fox Farms into the alfalfa tea. And that will get you through your main growth period. Then we have to switch it up a little bit and add some other things. During the main growth period, what your plant's going to want mainly is nitrogen. And that's going to make it grow big and full. Now, it still needs a little bit of the potash, and it still needs a little bit of the phosphorus. But we've got that already mixed in with our original amendments. So our original amendment with the fertilization weekly will get you through till flower time. Now, come flower time, we're going to do something a little bit different. Now, all of a sudden, we've got to add more potash and more phosphorus. If you want big, frosty nugs that are really nice and tight, the key is your phosphorus, your potash, and your magnesium. Your plant no longer wants as much nitrogen. So what we're going to do is we're still going to give them some alfalfa, because, you know, alfalfa is an amazing product. But what we're going to need to do is boost up that phosphorus, the potassium, and the magnesium. If you want sugary, frosty, it's all about the magnesium. What I have here is my magnesium source this season. In the past, I have used Advanced Nutrients Bud Candy, and it is a magnesium-based product, but I don't want to do anything but organic anymore, And so I did some research and I found Epsom salts. This is magnesium sulfate. That is what Epsom salt is. However, another thing that your plant really needs is sulfur. So what better than to give my plant its magnesium with a sulfur source? So Epsom salts works really great for magnesium uptake and give you a little bit of your sulfur needs. And that helps give you the sugary, frosty. Now how do I get big and dense? Well, big and dense has to do with your phosphorus. So here is a great source of phosphorus, bone meal. So what we're going to want to do is add in extra phosphorus and magnesium during the bud cycle. The other thing that I have here, which is an excellent source of potash, is kelp meal. So the kelp meal is going to add a lot of your potash, while your phosphorus is going to be added through your bone meal. So now I'm going to mix up my feeding for my plants at flower time. All right, guys, so I am mixing up my fertilization for the week. This one has alfalfa cubes with silica and a little bit of Epsom salt in it. As you can see, I've bubbled this one up already and filled it up and aerated it. Then this one's more for flower solution. This one has the alfalfa cubes, as you can see, with some bone meal dissolved in there and some Epsom salts as well with some silica. So that's how we mix up our fertilizer. I'll go ahead and show you guys. Now, I already aerated that one up a little bit. That's why it's bubbling up. So this one, I'll go ahead and aerate up a little bit. And what this does is it adds oxygen to the mix as well as stirring the mix and just bubbling it all up together. And it's that simple to make yourself some fertilizer teas. These mesh bags work great, so the cleanup's real easy, and then you just take your leftovers and you feed it to your worms and your microbes. So that's about that. Then I'll lift it up and let it drain out a little bit. Kind of rinse some of that out there. Let that drain in, and then as you see, it's bubbling it all up real good. Alright, so that's basically done. Let that drip out, and then the bag I will just take and set by a tree or something, so as that leaches out, it fertilizes whatever I put it next to. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and start by feeding the ones that aren't really in flower yet. So I have my watering can right there. So now I got my watering can right here, and I will just fill it up with the spigot. So it's that easy, guys. I got my mix all mixed up in here. So now I just gotta fill up that watering can and then just take it around the garden and water and stuff. Alfalfa is one of the best fertilizers you can get, guys. It's got a nice source of nitrogen in it. It's got an equal amount of potash or potassium in it. And it's got just a little bit of phosphorus in it. So it's perfect for veg cycle. Once you do get to flower cycle, then you need to put a little bit more phosphorus into your mix. So and the way we do that is we use things like bone meal. Bone meal is a great source of phosphorus. The other element that you're going to be wanting to add a lot of in flower cycle is magnesium. Magnesium helps make the frosty frosties. There you guys go. We've filled up our can. Now we just need to go around the garden watering. Right, here we are at the new girls in the big screen house. We've got the gelato here, and we've got the #1 there. So we will just take our fertilized mixture and just water it in. Pretty simple stuff. And like I said, this mixture is for the ones that are not flowering right now, because it's got a little more emphasis on the nitrogen. Now the other thing that I'm going to be doing at flower time is I'm going to be adding a little bit of bone meal around the base of the plant and scratching that in so it can receive that via the soil. I'm going to scratch in a little kelp meal, and I'm going to scratch in a little Epsom salt. So that is going to give it a boost at its base in the soil, and then the worms can eat that as well and put that into the soil. And that way it gives it a double uptake of what it can get. It's got it in its soil, blending into its soil, as well as a water-soluble form that I'm pouring onto it. And that's going to send it into beautiful flowers. The phosphorus and the potash are going to make big buds. The magnesium is going to make tight, frosty buds. So that's your fertilization, guys. That's what you're going to need to do. So, make sure that you get yourself some good starter fertilizer with your beneficial soil microbes and your mycorrhizal fungi. Big deal, because the soil microbes break down the trace elements, so the mycorrhizal fungi can help the roots uptake it into their structures and get it to where it needs to be. Then once flower comes, make sure you put in some extra bone meal, some Epsom salts, and some kelp meal, and you will be ready to rock and roll. So I hope this gave you guys a good chance to figure out what you're going to need to do come flower. I'm sure most of you guys are already in your growth cycles. And let me add this for growth cycle. If you have prepared your soil correctly, you could go all the way till flower without adding any kind of fertilization, and you will have excellent outcome because you've already prepped your soil right with your microbes, your mycorrhiza, and all of your amendments with your worm castings, a little bit of bat guano in there, and the diatomaceous. So you got lots of calcium, phosphorus, nitrogen, potash, trace elements, and you're ready to go. And then come flower time, that's when you're going to really want to hit them with fertilizer, because that's when you want to get your big, beautiful, plump, tight, gorgeous buds. So I hope that you guys got something out of this. I hope this helps you wrap your head around fertilization a little bit more. And, don't get overwhelmed with fertilization. I do want to put this out there that less is more. You can really mess up your grow if you over-fertilize. If you under-fertilize, you're going to be all right. You're going to still get a decent product. It won't be the perfection you were necessarily looking for, but you will get some beautiful, good smoke. Now, if you over-fertilize, you will kill it and you'll get nothing. So if you're a little bit worried about all of this, because this is a lot. It's a lot to take in, and I could see a new grower getting kind of nervous about all these products. So if you're a little nervous, half everything. You'll be okay. You're still getting it fertilization, and it's still going to get what it needs. I'm going to give this for the beginner, the nervous beginner that doesn't want to get too out of control. I'm going to give you the simplest solution. And that is 10% worm castings, manufacturer's suggestion on the microbe mycorrhizae. Every other week, hit them with the Fox Farms and the silica. And you will be all right. You will have an excellent grow. And then come flower time, you could let it go and just follow that same formula. And you'll be all right. You'll get a good product. My suggestion is go ahead and get yourself a little bit of magnesium to put in there. And then, you'll get really nice frosty. So, I hope I didn't make that too complicated for you. I hope that the simplified version will help you out a lot. Let me throw this around so you guys can see the front of that. So that's what I get. But that's basic fertilization, and with that knowledge I've just given you, you should have an excellent grow and be very satisfied with what you get. But for now, keep happy, stay stoned, and urban garden.